As you know, Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs are back-to-back national champions on the field, and I think there's a good possibility they could go back-to-back with number one overall picks in the NFL draft this year. Of course, last year they had Trayvon Walker, former five-star edge defender, could play inside obviously, but he's now with the Jacksonville Jaguars, went number one last year. And according to NFL Insider, who was Daniel Jeremiah, this is in my story over on DAWGS, you can go read it, but Daniel Jeremiah said that he thinks Jalen Carter is going to go number one this year to the Chicago Bears, who obviously don't need a quarterback with Justin Fields playing better and better throughout the season last year. So it doesn't happen often where you've got guys back-to-back, two different schools go number one. I think Oklahoma did it, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, but two defenders, I don't know when the last time that has happened. So if the Bears stay at number one and do not trade back to get more picks, which is probably the smartest move, I do think they have to pick a defender. They had probably the second worst defense in the NFL last year. They gave up the most points. I know they were second in yards per play given up. They were second worst against the run. They need a guy on the inside, and I think Jalen Carter could be a better pick than Will Anderson, who probably had more stats obviously this year than Jalen Carter, who again missed some time early in the season, but he's a big deal. He was excellent last year against Auburn and Kentucky, dominated this year against Mississippi State, Tennessee, and others. He's a big play guy. I'm trying to look up his stats. I'm reading this from my story earlier. He made 83 total tackles in his career, 6 sacks, forced 2 fumbles. The guy was all over the place. One of their better defenders last year on a loaded defense. When obviously what Georgia did in the NFL draft last year was historic, and I think they have a good chance of not getting to 15, but leading college football in picks. I'm going to go over those in a little bit, but Jalen Carter is going to go top 5 anyway. I think he probably won't get past the Cardinals, I think, who are in the top 5, but it's either Will Anderson or Jalen Carter for the Chicago Bears, and I think you've got to rebuild that defense from within, and it starts with a defensive tackle who can clog those running lanes, get after the quarterback, and win one-on-one battles consistently. He's lightning quick off the ball for 300 pounds. He's as strong as an ox. He's got a great motor. He checks just about every box that coaches look for on the interior. I think he could be the closest thing to Aaron Donald that we've seen. I'm not just saying that because he played at Georgia. I'm saying it because I saw him play for 3 years with my own eyeballs. And you get a better advantage sometimes watching these games from the press box like I do than on TV. And the guy just consistently bullies the opposing lineman that's trying to block him. If he's in one-on-one situations, he's going to have a field day, and I think you could say the same for him at the next level. So I think he's going to be the first Bulldog off the board. And then a few guys right after, I think the next guy is probably Broderick Jones, who should be a top 10 pick. He is an elite offensive tackle. His ability to block in space, his athleticism, the way he moves. If he gets to the second level and gets his hands on a linebacker, it's over. I mean, he will eliminate guys from plays. And if you go back and, really break down his film, if you just watch him and him only in the play, he's consistently beating his guy and more often than not putting them in the ground. So he moves really, really well. He's still lean. I mean, he's a creative player. I said that when he was a 5-star out of Lithonia. This guy looks the part. He moves. He's got great feet. He's long and he's athletic, and you can use him in a lot of different ways. Obviously, Georgia ran behind him a lot, but in the screen game, he can, come out and put guys on their back, and it opens up a lot of things for guys like Ladd McConkey and Kenny McIntosh and others. What he did against TCU made it look easy. So he's probably the second guy off the board. Keely Ringo has worked himself, solidified himself as an easy first rounder, probably in the middle of the first round, but he's a big physical cornerback, probably better suited to play safety in the NFL. Just not sure he can match up one-on-one with some of these smaller, quicker, explosive receivers in the NFL, and there are more and more of those each year. But yeah, he can hit, and I think he'd be excellent in zone coverage. He's fast. He covers a lot of ground. He can make a play on the ball. So playing in the middle of the field as opposed to on an island, I think, is what Keely Ringo will do best in the NFL. I think he's a first-round pick. Then you start thinking, where does Darnell Washington go? He's a freak. There's nobody like him in college football. There's not really anyone like him in the NFL either. He is a super athletic offensive tackle who's great at catching the football and staying on his feet and getting big yards. So he's a tremendous blocker. I think that's going to translate well to the NFL, but he's going to be a pass catcher as well too. He's such a big target, especially in the red zone and in the end zone. Can win a lot of one-on-one battles there. You can flex him outside. his ability to block on the perimeter helped Georgia's offense a lot earlier in the season against Oregon and South Carolina. It seemed like they were, getting the ball out quickly to their backs, receivers, and running behind him. That's what he does. So I think he's going to be a very, very good NFL prospect as well, and possibly a first-round guy. So after that, let's start with offense, right? Stetson Bennett is going to get drafted. Kenny McIntosh, I believe, is going to get drafted. Kearis Jackson, I think, could get drafted, probably should get drafted. He made a lot of plays, and when he was involved, good things happened. He doesn't have ideal size, but he's tough, and he does have some muscle on him, and he is quick and explosive. Great after the catch. He could be a big-time special teams guy, not necessarily returning, but just in other aspects. I'm not sure he's an NFL type of returner, but he's a guy who could play in the slot, and he can block. He's a willing blocker as well. So someone's going to take a chance on him. They should, and I think he's going to get drafted. Warren McClendon, I think, should get drafted. Warren Erickson might get drafted. So the handful of guys right there. On the defensive line, I believe Zion Logue is coming back. Tramel Walthour is coming back. Nazir Stackhouse is coming back. Bear Alexander could be a first-rounder at some point. Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins is coming back. They have a good amount of depth on the defensive line. They're just, losing Jalen Carter, who, again, when I started this video, was talking about how he could be the #1 pick, and there are some people inside the NFL who think he's going to be the NFL, the #1 pick if the Bears stay where they're at #1. Linebacker, they're returning their 3, inside linebackers, but Nolan Smith is going to get drafted. Not sure he's a first-round guy due to the injury, but he could sneak in there. I think we could see him towards the end of the first round. Maybe he wows coaches in the interview process and can get a little healthier, maybe going through drills. But it's going to be tough for him to be 100%, obviously, to show what he can do. But could be a first-round pick. He's played like he should be, at least, and has the potential to be. So definitely another guy to know. Robert Beal, I think, could get drafted. Christopher Smith is going to get drafted. So that's 10. I wasn't keep it count, really, just thinking off the top of my head. You tell me in the comments section how many players that was, how many players you think could get drafted. Could Jack Podlesny get drafted? I probably wouldn't draft him, but someone might. And we've seen Georgia kickers go on to do big things in the NFL, so there's a possibility. But it'll be interesting to see where Stetson goes. I think some team is going to take a chance on him. The way he plays in big games, big moments, I think you don't want to draft an undersized 25-year-old quarterback out of college, but he's not your traditional quarterback. The guy is a gamer, he's a winner, and he has a better arm than people think, and he is mobile. And he does bring some maturity to the team as well. Being 25 years old, he's not, some 3-and-out quarterback who did really well in college and expects people to fall in love with him, or a Zach Wilson type who's just too young to be an NFL starting quarterback, too immature right now, and isn't willing to learn. Whereas Stetson, I think, could make a team better. Even if he's a backup somewhere, I think he'll get a chance, and I think he'll get drafted. But this video is about Jalen Carter and the possibility of Georgia maybe going back-to-back with #1 overall picks in the NFL draft. He made a lot of plays. You could see a lot of them in DAWGstruction that I have behind me. Make sure to order Double Dogs, are the book that we're continuing to write right now. We took some great shots. We got a lot of camera equipment that we take to all these games. We took some shots that are just phenomenal that you will not see anywhere else, just like the photos that you see in DAWGstruction. So get your copy today. Get one for a friend, family member. We put a lot of effort into this, and we take a lot of pictures throughout, the season, hoping that, they might win a championship and we could share these photos with you with a book like this. So make sure you order your copy. I think there's still confetti. I've got confetti in somewhere around. It's in a bowl on the other table over there. But we have a lot of confetti from these big time games. And so if you want some of that, email Dean. I think he has an answer for you there. So pick up Double Dogs. A lot of pictures of Jalen Carter in there. Obviously some pictures of Stetson Bennett that you won't see anywhere else. So make sure you pick that up. We have a lot of content coming through. Join the newsletter that we have over on the website. These stories are free. A lot, like 95% of the stories we're writing right now are free. So take advantage of the newsletter. You get an email just about every day with all the latest stories. So check us out. We really appreciate it. Got some recruiting news coming soon. Signing day is right around the corner. I'm excited to dig into that. Georgia trying to solidify their number 2 class. Might be able to get and sign a big-time 5-star tight end out of Phoenix, Arizona. Still working on more details. That Deuce Robinson, and maybe land a 5-star in the 24 class as well. There's a lot going on the recruiting trail. I love reporting about it. I'm excited to dig into the 24 class and make recruiting videos for the next several months for you. But thanks for watching this one. We always appreciate it. Stay tuned for more videos like this, and I'll see you over on Dog Post.